Welcome back to a brand new edition of Ariel, the Bad Guy, right here on the ESPN MMA YouTube channel. I'm Ariel, and that's the bad guy, Chael P. Sonnen. And Chael, I don't know if you know this, but not only did we just have the first UFC card of 2021, not only did we just have the first UFC card ever on ABC, we may have just had the fight of the year on the first card of the year, Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar. Holy smokes!
Yes, you're overselling that. That was not a terrific fight, but that was a terrific performance for Max. My goodness, the domination and that pace, Ariel. I've never seen anybody in this sport weaponize pace quite like George St. Pierre. I must tell you, Max is making a weapon. It's like a tag team part. It's a 2-on-1. It's Max and pace versus the opponent.
Okay, so let's break this all down, Chael. Like I said, historic stuff in Abu Dhabi, Yas Island, the return to Fight Island, first ever card at the brand spanking new Etihad Arena. And what a main card it was. 5 tremendous fights, highlighted by the Max Holloway unanimous decision win over Calvin Kattar. I just said, best fight of the year. Of course, kidding, first card of the year. But you're saying the story really was Max's performance, the dominance. There was a 50-42 in there, which is absurd. First time since Loiseau Franklin. But what about Calvin Kattar's heart as well? Isn't that part of the story? The fact that he just survived that onslaught.
Oh, absolutely. Kattar's stock went up. Ariel, you have to understand from this perspective, when an athlete gets beat, when he gets a result that he does not like, he will go and sit down with his team and figure out what went wrong and what they can do better. Excuse me, there was nothing that Kattar did wrong. There was nothing that Kattar could do better. It was a pacing issue. He simply could never get going, and the spots where he could, the spots where defensively he could throw something back, he did a very good job. Kattar moved his feet very well. There was one takedown attempt by Max. Kattar stuffed it. I only offered for you Kattar's conditioning held up. He was dealing in a pressure situation. Let's look at the other side of the coin. How is Max Hall? This was a story coming to this, Ariel. How is Max going to respond? He just had his heart ripped out. He fought for a world championship of which the world believed he won, but the 3 judges ringside saw it different. How is he going to respond? And the answer was incredibly, because I want to come back to the performance. This is not a sport where as an athlete, you want to go and look at the outcome, meaning everything goes great. You get your hand raised. That doesn't mean you don't go and assess what you did. Things go terribly. That doesn't mean you throw your team out and start over, or you hang your head or you get depressed. You go and look at the performance. This performance by Max, I submit for you, is the single best performance he ever had. And I'm saying this about a guy who was a world champion.
Unbelievable, especially considering the fact that you said back in July he lost a very close fight to Volkanovski. A lot of people, including myself, and I believe you as well, thought he won that fight. And I heard and saw a lot of people say tonight, best performance from Max. To that I'll say, excuse you, y'all must have forgot. Max Holloway gave us Brian Ortega in Toronto. Did you forget the 2 Aldo fights? Did you forget the other win in Toronto against Anthony Pettis? I don't know about best performance, and quite frankly, Chael, I don't care, because Max Holloway may have put out the blueprint to the rest of the MMA world. Perhaps, Chael, sparring is overrated. 2 times in a row now, the guy doesn't spar, and we get this performance out of him. Was Allen Iverson right back in the day? Maybe practice is not necessary for these guys. Maybe everyone shouldn't spar.
Ariel, my father was a horseman. This is a very true story. And he got a call from a trainer named Tex Irwin one day. And Tex said, Pat, my father's name was Pat, you got to get down to the track. You need to claim this horse called Sunvest, and only I know how to train this horse. My dad didn't have any other information. He scraped his money together. He went down and got the horse. The horse went on to set a track record for the most wins it's had. And my dad finally turned to the trainer and said, Tex, what is it you know about this horse? And the trick was, don't train this horse. You get him up in the morning, you walk him around the track while all the competition is doing sprints. This horse didn't like to train, but it knew how to show up on game day. I bring that to you because rarely we see an athlete who can get more with less. And what you're talking about with Max is that he's focused on feeling good. He's focused on keeping his body fresh as opposed to that hard grind that we all do. And Ariel, I must concede, I am seeing it in the performance. I am seeing a freshness mentally and physically. Boy, he's just out there flowing.
It's amazing. Just like his hair's flowing out there as well. He's talking in the middle of the fight. He's talking to the commentators. He's feeling good. He's not taking a ton of damage. His output was insane. Unofficially, as of right now, 289 significant strikes. That's 1 less than his record, 290 against Brian Ortega. Now, here's the big question, Chael. I think this guy still might be the best featherweight on the planet. Unfortunately, he's 0-2 against the current champion, Alexander Volkanovski. And now you're in purgatory when you're 0-2 against a champ. Just ask the likes of Joseph Benavidez. But there's a big difference between what Benavidez went through against Demetrius Johnson and what Max is going through against Alexander Volkanovski. Benavidez got knocked out by DJ. And here I am saying to you, and I want to get your take on this, I want to see Max versus Volkanovski 3. Now, Volkanovski's booked to fight Brian Ortega on March 27th. But Chael, am I crazy for thinking that a third fight between Volkanovski and Holloway, if Volkanovski beats Ortega in March, is actually the most interesting featherweight title fight out there?
You are not crazy, and normally I would be very quick to jump and agree with you. I mean, look, let's say that Max should have won that fight. I mean, just take for granted, okay? No disrespect to Volkanovski, and it's impossible to have this conversation without being a little bit disrespectful to him. But just hear me out on this. If Max should be the champion, that means you now have a guy floating around the division who's the best guy in the division. It's wildly unfair to the field. So, in this particular case, the only reason that this is a little bit different is that division is so stacked right now. If I was to submit for you, Ariel, the fight that I want to see, knowing that Volkanovski and Brian Ortega have business to do, if I was to submit for you, I want to see Max versus Zabit. I'm pretty sure that you agree with me, and I only offer that because one side of the coin is, yes, Max deserves that, for sure. The other side is Volkanovski, who went out and did something twice for 10 rounds for 50 minutes, does have the right to get a little bit of parity and start his own legacy.
My God, what a tough ask for Zabit Magomedsharipov. Guy hasn't fought since November of 2019. Come back against that Max Holloway. Holy smokes, great fight, but man, that's a tough ask in your return fight. Chael, it was shades of Griffin Bonner, right? You know, that first card on Spike TV, it was everything that JDS versus Cain Velasquez won was not. This is special stuff when we again consider the platform
yes.
and everyone watching. I mean, I could foresee people on this Saturday afternoon calling their friends and saying, put on ABC, put on Channel 7 right now. This is the kind of stuff that elevates the sport, does it not?
Sure. So let's take a look at this from Dana White's perspective. Dana White is given an opportunity to have arguably more eyeballs on his product than he's ever had. Okay, what direction is he going to go, Ariel? Is he going to go with the personal grudge? Is he going to go with the rematch? Is he going to go with the comeback? Is he going to go with the title fight? Excuse me. He went with something very unique. Dana's objective was, and he had 556 athletes to choose from. He put 2 of them out there with this goal in mind. I want it to be fun. I want this to be exciting. I hear the highness in your voice, partner. I hear this pep in your step. I submit for you. The little old lady in Iowa that stumbled across ABC now has that same pep. She still has that same step. This is what Dana's mission was. It was a risky strategy. Generally, you would bring a world title fight. But as you mentioned, with Cain versus JDS, not always the right way to go. I like the comparison that you just made to Bonner Griffin. I would also submit for you, move over, Bonner Griffin. There's a new number 1 in town.
Tremendous stuff. If you missed it, you missed out. It was incredible. The heart, the will, the determination, both men displayed. Phenomenal. Everything we love about MMA. Now, it wasn't just about Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar, Chael. We have to talk about the co-main, a fight that we had been talking about since, I don't know, 2013, 2014. Matt Brown, Carlos Condit have been circling each other for a long time. They were booked several times. It got canceled for various reasons, but we finally got to see it. And Chael, this was the last fight on Carlos Condit's current UFC contract. I'm told right now leaning towards re-signing, but wow, I didn't see this out of Condit. Turning back the clock, he's now won 2 in a row. What did he do that was so impressive tonight against Matt Brown? He won that fight 3 rounds to none.
Well, let me tell you what he missed. You talk about he won 2 of his last 3. Let's go back to that third, and I believe that was against Chiesa, but he just didn't have that same pace. He was a little bit hesitant out there. You talked about Max Holloway did not spar before this fight. I would submit for you that Carlos did not get a whole lot of sparring. And Ariel, he looked flat rusty. What I saw tonight was just shades of old Carlos, where he's in your face, he's fighting from every position. I would also submit for you, if there's one where the judges need to wash their glasses and rewatch, it was this fight. They gave him a round winning it from his back, which is a very hard thing to do. I mentioned that maybe controversy is good for the sport, but I didn't see what those judges saw. But I did see 2 guys out there competing for 15 minutes that both wanted to win.
Yeah, 2 veterans of the sport, 2 guys who did it the right way. Great to see them on this platform as well and competing like that. Now, Chael, other than those two great fights, we had three great, amazing finishes. Puna Soriano was an amazing finish to start off the main card. Alessio Di Chirico with the great win over Joaquin Buckley, halting that hype train as well. Just amazing stuff there. The Leech, Li Zhangliang, what a rude return for Santiago Ponzinibbio, who was on a 7-fight winning streak, hadn't fought since November 2018. Of those three finishes on the main card, which impressed you the most?
Okay, I thought when Buckley went down, that's the one that I have, and I'll tell you why is mainly because of the story coming into it. Not necessarily just because that kick was so beautiful, and it was, but I do think the story of having somebody that's a highlight reel, it was put in like a P. Diddy video because he was so excited. In all fairness, when they flipped the script on him, I did have a moment of that awe factor, which for me, that's something I'm going to remember.
Which video, Chael? Say that one again. Which video?
P. Diddy put him in a video. Buckley.
Oh
Buckley,
my God,
when he got caught, when his foot got cocked and he jumped up and he did a spinning kick, hit that kid in the mouth. Dana came back, gave him 50. What are you acting like you don't remember this?
Kanye West, Chael. Kanye West, for God's sakes. Kanye West. Oh my gosh.
I apologize. Two great artists all the same.
Wednesday.
He got featured by a star. Yeah. A star featured him in a video. That was my point, you little jerk, you little hall monitor. Don't correct me, Helwani.
This is what we've learned over the past few days doing this show. Your MMA knowledge second to none. You still use a fax machine, and your knowledge of hip hop needs a little brushing up. Let's just be honest, Chael.
Only the insiders are going to get that. And if you want to give another one for the insiders, I don't think Elizabeth made a charcuterie board tonight because she didn't send out a picture. What do you think of that, insiders?
I couldn't agree more, but guess what, Chael? Tonight, we got the charcuterie board of MMA. We got something for everyone. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It was tremendous. And oh, by the way, wouldn't you know it, in 7 days, we got the return of Conor McGregor against Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler against Dan Hooker, UFC 257. The fun has just begun. For now, though, we are out of time. For Chael P, for our entire team, thanks for watching this abridged version of Ariel the Bad Guy Free for All. Check us out on ESPN Plus. We gotta go, Chael. I got a football game to watch. All right, go Bills. We'll see you on Wednesday or Thursday later this week on ESPN Plus. All right, take care.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.